We're gonna be talking about crosshair placement. We're also gonna be talking about the pivot. Now the pivot is a moment in time in a peak where you pause for a second, pause, and then peek, and swings right on that perfect spot. This is not the first time he'll do this. Watch again. He's gonna peek hookah again in a second. Pause, peek. You see? Pause, peek, pause, peek. So in this particular round, we're gonna watch his crosshair placement and watch how he takes these fights. It's very, very fluid, and there's no moment in time where he stops himself and then peek. It's a movement like a basketball player. You pivot yourself and you rotate around, pivot and rotate around. In this case, before you take a fight, you should stop for a second and then peek. Okay? So you see what he did there? He actually did it just instinctually. Watch this. Stop and then peek. Crosshair placement was a little bit off, but it wasn't bad. You're still on the right track, and you were peeking with intention. I can tell you were peeking with deadly intention there. Hello, my name is Worthy, a professional Valorant coach. If you're looking to climb the ranks and improve your overall gameplay, you definitely want to leave a like and a sub, and enjoy the video. Okay, so watch how you take this peek. So you just swing right out into that, and this is further emphasized by your shooting error. You knew where they were. All you had to do was take that brief second, line up your crosshair on the wall, and then swing out with deadly intention. Because you don't take that second, your first bullet is off into Narnia, and now you have to reset yourself. Okay, same thing here. Take a second, re-peek into that angle, because there's a high chance someone's rotating into here. Right here. Okay, watch this again. Swinging wide, not taking your time, and now you're looping around. You knew where they were. You could loop right into that, not loop into it, but you can literally just take your time and aim into the wall and then peek straight out into it. It's like a little, you can do that little hop. You did the hop before with the crouch. Take a hop and then go in. It's so important because whenever you're taking these fights, you want to visualize success. It's kind of like how a pitcher, for example, they're communicating to each other. They're like, okay, I want you to throw this pitch. And then the pitcher will do his pre-shot routine and then he'll go into it. Whenever you're going to take a fight, do a little pre-shot routine. Get into the fight, get yourself mentally ready, and then you peek out into it. You need to assume that you are revealed. So assume that you're revealed, and now you either have to fight or run away. You have a fraction of a second to do that. If you're going to run away, the wall needs to go up and you need to get out of there as quickly as you possibly can. Okay, so one of the two. Now your positioning issue comes in where you're getting surrounded on both sides. When you're surrounded on both sides, you're now fully committed to this fight. The only way that you can really get a good fight off is if you fight them, if you run at them. You have to decide to choose which fight you're going to go for. You either push down shop and fight them there, or you push down cave and fight them there. I think in this case, pushing down shop is the best move. If you wait for them, they will pinch you. So you can't hesitate in these moments because you're already dead. You're already dead at this point. So our decision should have been to push down and fight them.
What the?
You backed off. They're already in your face.
Right.
You're upset at them because they took their time going into cave. But in this situation, you've already been seen. They know where you are. You have to assume that. They might not have seen you, but you have to assume that they've seen you. So they know where you are. They're taking their time, and they're collapsing in on both sides.
Viper's still in, man. I'm not peeking.
Okay. You are now two angles they can run at you because your teammate just died. This is the point in time you need to make a decision. Do I fight A main alone, or do I fight to live? Or do I try to move to live? So at this point, you would probably move to the right, fight the guy in cave, and try to get to yellow. Or you can wall yourself over to yellow, and that will allow you to live a little bit longer. And then you play from yellow and just like try to control this spot and let them take sight, right? So if you decide to move up here, you are now committed, you're probably dead. But now if you're probably dead, there's a rule that you must follow. And that rule on defense is that every single person on your team is worth 2 points. So if you're gonna commit to playing in pyramids and commit to your death, that means you must get 2 to get any kind of value out of this. Because they're all worth 1 point. We just lost 1, so they have 2 points right now because they killed a life and they had the position on the map. So if you're gonna move up here, you're working on the assumption that you're killing 3. If you fall back, you're playing your life a little bit and giving up space and conceding it. Okay.
2 A main, 2 A main, 2 A main.
So now you have to wall to the right because you're screwed if you don't. Perfect. And now you have to commit to this fight.
I'm in trouble.
You have to get 2. Perfect. Okay, so that was bare ass minimum. I love this play as well, and the reason being is that your teammate was flanking. So this was the right decision to make. 100% correct. Let's break down why pressure is a little overrated. First of all, why do you think you're feeling pressure in this overtime situation? You tell me.
I think part of it is just I'm super competitive, so I like winning. The other part of it is I think it was tied to my performance. I was having a good game, and we were up in rounds initially before we lost it to like the overtime scenario. So then kind of taking those two factors, I just put it more on myself, like that I needed to win or help contribute to a win.
And who were you trying to impress?
Myself.
Yourself? Okay, cool. That's great. But I think ultimately your pressure comes from you really want to win this game. You've said it yourself. It's competition. It's all that good stuff, right? What's the worst case scenario to happen from this game if we were to lose? What's the worst case scenario?
The worst case is I just lose RR.
Okay, you lose RR, maybe you D rank, right? Is losing RR a death sentence, or can you always earn it back?
You can always earn it back.
Perfect. Who's going to remember this loss in 10 years time?
Nobody.
Okay. Does this game define you as a player, or is it simply one game in many of your games of your career?
One of many.
One of many. So you can always come back and you can always improve. It's all this good stuff, right? So is the prospect of losing really that important, or would you say it's overrated?
I would say it's overrated.
Is there value in losing a game?
Yes, always.
What is?
Learning from your mistakes, like learning things you did right while equally like finding out what you did wrong. Every round in this game is essentially just knowledge that you're gaining for the future.
I'm so glad you said it like that, because I'm going to be talking about that towards the end of this conversation. Let's do it from the other side. What happens if you win?
Gain points. It feels good for the confidence.
Is winning RR, or points that you said, a definitive example that you're a fantastic player, or is it possible that you could lose this RR again?
It's possible you can lose it again.
Who's going to remember this win in 10 years time?
Nobody.
Does this game define you as a player, or is it simply one game in many of your career?
One of many.
Is it possible that had you have won this game, you wouldn't be having this conversation with me right now, and maybe not have used this VOD and learned these vital lessons?
Yeah.
You might have chosen a different one. Is winning overrated?
Yeah.
It's all overrated.
Yeah.
So why are we applying pressure? There shouldn't be pressure, because it's all overrated. Here's the moral of the story. I assume you want to be the best possible player you can be, correct?
Right.
Then here's my best advice for you. Never chase a win. Never chase a loss. Don't chase ranks. Chase experience. Play, because every round you play pushes you closer to your ultimate goal of being the best player you can be. Every round that we played here is pushing us a little bit further to that ultimate goal. You got to play overtime. That was awesome. We got more rounds under our belt. We got more experiences. We got to go through different scenarios. And when we lose, we create an opportunity for greater growth within ourselves. Not just within the game, but also as a person. So this is all positive. No matter what happens, it's always positive. And we should be immediately excited to jump into the next game or review.